No, I think she is.
Yeah, she's hurt. She took a hard fall off there.
Okay.
Gosh, I hope she's okay.
I can't do it. Okay. We'll do it live.
Okay.
We'll do it live. It. Do it live. I'll write it and we'll do it live. Thing sucks.
Here we go, kiddos. It's Friday, November 7th, another edition of the Daily Punch Up, your daily sports podcast, coming to you live and in podcast form later. If you are listening and watching it later in the day, we always go live at 10 a.m. on X, also on YouTube, and also the Puck Sports mobile app. Yes, you can listen to the show on the move, on the go, live. You don't want to watch us. Download the Puck Sports mobile app to your iPhone or Android. Both are available to you. We're coming to you every single day from the Limback Lumber Studios. Contractors, do-it-yourselfers, they treat you the same there at Limback Lumber. If you're a Husky fan, they'll even treat you even better. Paul and the crew, diehard Husky fans. They've got the largest stock moldings in the Northwest. They're going to take care of you. They've been doing business in Ballard since 1930. They know what they're doing. The back wall was painted by former Husky Hugh Millen. That's how long they've been there. Hugh played in like the 20s, for God's sakes. Give Limback Lumber a call, 206-782-3487. Website is limbacklumber.com. You can visit me on the social media platforms. It's a safe space there. Puck Sports everywhere except on TikTok. It's Puck_sports. And please visit pucksports.com. There you can find all of our work up there every single day. Plus, that's where you can sign up to become a Puck's Posse member. It's just $5 a month there as well. The QR code on your video stream, if you click on that, it will take you there as well. All right, we'll get to the PME show. That's what we like to call it. It's the Puckett, Moore, and Egan show coming up here momentarily. But we got to first welcome in the one and only. He has to be introduced separately before we get to Egan because such a big deal. He is a 19-time Pacific Northwest Hydro Cup Racing Rider of the Year. Ladies and gentlemen, with stops at the Seattle PI, the Anchorage Daily, the Plateau Press, also 710 ESPN Seattle, and KJR. It is Jim Moore, the go-to guy, brought to you by.
Hey, Puck, it's good to be back. I did win Hydro Rider of the Year once, and it was basically because the guy who was running the hydroplane thing said to me, Steve Turcotte, he said, hey, have you won this thing yet? And I said, no, and he goes, okay, we'll give it to you this year. So it wasn't really on merit.
Turcotte is an American icon. We love Turcotte.
He is. Steve Turcotte, American icon. Brian Turner, he's an American icon, too.
Yes.
He runs a Clean Streak in Oak Harbor, and he also has Bright Owl Lighting. He's going to put up the Christmas lights for you. He's doing it for Puck this year. He can do it for you, too. No ladders, no hanging over gutters, no hassles with untangling lights, no dying, okay? He'll do it for you. No dying, all right? So, Brian Turner, give him a call at 360-675-2034 and tell him that Jim Moore loves him, okay? That's me. I'm speaking in the third person, or visit brightowllighting.com. I love Brad Brotherton, too. He's going to be watching Cougar basketball at 4 o'clock today. Brotherton Cadillac, Northwest and Shoreline, Brotherton Cadillac, and Brotherton Buick GMC in Renton. Fourth-generation family. They just have the best hospitality there, and it makes the difference. You're going to shake his hand. You're going to look him in the eye. And you're going to say, Brad, it's a pleasure to meet you. He's going to say the same thing for you. You're going to walk out with a car, and you're going to have a great deal. So make sure you visit him in Renton or Shoreline, or visit brothertonauto.com. I mentioned Cougar basketball. You know where you can watch Cougar basketball today? Everyone wants to watch the Cougs play Davidson in basketball today.
CW Network.
The Angry Beaver in Greenwood, because Matt Baker, the bar owner there, he'll have it on for you. And guess what? Happy hour starts at 4 o'clock. The game starts at 4 o'clock. $2 off drinks, $2 off of everything in the menu. Check it out, the Angry Beaver in Greenwood.
Okay, we got lots to cover on a Friday. Egan joins us here in just a quick second. Then it's Friday Night Lights with Todd Milles, VarsityWaNews.com. We get you up to date on all the playoff action in high school football starting tonight. Jim, you should find yourself over at a high school game down there in Bend. Summit High School's the big one, I believe. Summit
High School. It is. Yeah, I think it's on the west side of town. We got
That's the good
There's
one.
a new high school called Dara. But yeah, football's big down here too.
Everyone loves football. Last word with Bob Condotta of the Seattle Times. There's not a person that doesn't love Bob Condotta. He joins me coming up later. We'll do this on this day coming up a little bit later, and then we wrap it up with, hey, what the puck. But ladies and gentlemen, here he is. We talk about a 19-time
he actually is
Cup rider. We have a 20-time Emmy Award winner. You can see the Emmys in the back. Ladies and gentlemen, the number one broadcaster in the Pacific Northwest. He's been doing it for 20 plus years at King 5. It is Chris Egan. Hello, Chris.
Jason Puckett, Jim Moore, humbled, honored. You can throw all that at me. I'm going to throw it right back at you, too. This is the number one podcast in the great state of Washington, Oregon, Idaho, Montana. So I did some verification. I jumped on my X, asked Grok. I asked people. And speaking of Montana, I got a buddy of mine, a longtime listener, first-time caller, Brett McDaniel and his son Colt. They're on their way to watch Eastern Washington take on Montana. Jake Skubal, former Emerald Ridge Star, I believe is going to get the start for Eastern in that game. And then they're going to check out a little Oklahoma-Gonzaga basketball. But, Puck, real quickly, kudos to you. I love the PME. Puckett, Moore, Egan. The only three other letters better than that, FME, that stands for Fife, Milton, Edgewood. Jim Moore, they love.
I thought it was going to be something else.
No,
I thought it would be like fuck me dead.
Well, fuck me everywhere or something. I didn't know where we were going with it, but
okay. Fife, Milton, Edgewood. It's the Tri-Cities of the Pacific Northwest.
Where Fife. It's the story. We love it because I don't know where Fife starts. I don't know where Fife.
Nobody does. Nobody does.
I don't know where Fife really is.
And nobody really knows where Milton is.
What do you mean? There's an exit that says Fife, isn't there? I mean, we know where Fife is.
There's the Fife
It's past Federal Way before you get to Tacoma.
Yeah, but that's the exit. But where is Fife, though? When you get off,
the Poodle Dog Restaurant is right in the center of Fife.
I think that's the only thing that's in Fife. Chris, correct me if I'm wrong.
No, that's pretty much correct. I mean, there's, and nobody knows where Milton is in Edgewood, but they're all there together. Shout out to the FME and the PME. So there you go. I'm ready to roll. It's time to give a shout out, Jim Moore, to Jason Puckett, who made the drive last Friday night from Ballard to Enumclaw. Getting from Ballard to Enumclaw on a Friday night is not easy. But it was, honestly, I've been doing high school football for a long time, Puck, and that was one of my favorite Friday nights, sitting in the booth with you, calling that game. I mean,
I'm not sure I would call that a booth, Chris.
That wasn't a booth. It was an open stable. I think we were in a hog trailer. But, I mean, it was everything that's right about just high school sports and a community. I mean, it was pouring rain, Jim, and the place was packed to the rafters. And, it's one of those games where you hate to see one of the teams lose, but it was just a fun night. So I appreciate you coming out, and I appreciate that. Thank you.
Yeah, I want to hear a soundbite from that because I bet you guys are entertaining as hell. I'm not so sure about how the play-by-play is going. It seems like the play-by-play probably interrupts the stories that you guys are telling.
Well, I would say, Jim, the best one is there's so many lines on the night, and Puckett was just throwing out so many things that were just like hitting me. Like, yeah, the place was packed. So we were like, is anybody home for Halloween candy give off? But then, Jim, this is why I give credit to the play-by-play people. I'm trying to figure out the clock, the clock and how many plays they have left. And Puckett's like, don't try to do math live on the air. And he's so right. I will not.
We didn't actually know what the clock was. We couldn't see the play clock. We couldn't. Yeah. And so you start trying to do the math in your head. It's not good, especially live. It's never good. Well, here's the thing, Jim, is like, me, I steer the show off in a wrong direction. Now this is on here. It's fine there. That's a respectable news station, right? And I can see when I start going down a inappropriate path that his eyes are like, we got to get it back on the road because we can't. Well, I started going into, calling out who is the cameraman? Who was
Gabe.
Ryan?
I think it was
Gabe, how do you like working here? Aren't we easy to work with rather than working with that You know, I don't think I said slave driver and Paul Sylvie, but something to that effect. And I could just see, you know, Egan like, oh God, don't do it.
Well, and then
don't bring up Sylvie.
Jim, we were not in a booth and literally we're surrounded by the parents. So you're just worried about taking a shot at any player because they're literally right next to us. I mean,
Jim, they're in the booth. Don't they have a press box there?
Okay, Jim, do you know that we're on in the stands? Do you know like there's a little space between two stands that get separated, right? One side or the other. There's like a little, like a small little corridor, just a little open space, right? Where you would put like garbage cans and extra stuff that would be in the stadium, right? That's where we were. We were in this small little, I don't know, 5x7 little space.
But it's all we needed.
Egan, me, two producers, or director, producer, and Gabe, the cameraman. We're all tucked in there. Like you can't move around. Meanwhile, I've got Kathy, the Enumclaw super fan, that is right to my left ear. And she has been hitting the Pinot Gris. She's been hitting, you know, the Malbec. I don't know what else she was. She was lovely, but she was loud, and she was just
awesome.
So you could hear her on the broadcast at all times. You could hear Kathy as much as you could hear you guys.
I think so.
So I have to ask you two about this because I'm just curious to get other people in the broadcasting world.
She was great, though. I loved her. I loved interacting with her. I love people that come with those
you
Yeti
didn't
cups.
Totally love her, though.
I did. I honestly, because she was getting after. That's how you should be.
She was getting out, and then the cheerleaders brought us hot dogs. It was a fun night. But Jim, this is you've been in journalism a long time. I post a 1-minute video of the Enumclaw offensive line coming out in a hog trailer. As we speak on this Friday, it has over 2 million views. I have requests from ESPN, Bleacher Report, and from CBS Sports to use the video. And I'm like, why is this so fascinating? I mean, I think it's fun, but it just doesn't seem like it's that.
Well, it's highly unusual and it's fun.
Okay.
It's everything that, well, you guys know, it's everything. If it's something different and unusual, offensive lineman coming out of a truck thing or whatever it is, a trailer thing. I mean, that's cool because usually it's the star of the game or whatever, but they're recognizing, everything about it, I think is, plays and is relevant elsewhere too.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, I think just to echo what Jim said there. I mean, it's unique. I've never seen anything like it. I think other schools should copy it. It fits with Enumclaw. And that these are bringing.
It's great that it was raining too.
Oh, yeah, and it's not just that, Jim. I mean, I'm telling you, this is one of the best atmospheres in sports I've ever been to. In sports, you get there, and I'm 90 minutes before the game. Place whoever's playing the music, it's just classic, like speed metal rock, and people are losing their minds. It's packed. Concessions are great. Fans are out there. I think it's a barn. It's described as a barn, but it looks like a wood cabin that sits
like
right
like a wedding venue of some sort. Yeah,
it's right behind the end zone. That's where the locker room is, where they get ready. And when I tell you, it's one of these. If you went to downtown Enumclaw at 7:00, you'd rob the whole place. There's no one around. No one. They're all there. Jim, they've got season ticket holders there. And where I was.
They probably have a waiting list to try and get season tickets too.
There's all these signs. You can't sit here. This is reserved for season ticket holders. And I saw a couple. I said, hey, how much are those? $126.
Huh.
For one season ticket. And I'm like, okay.
What do you
That's pretty cool.
4 or 5 games out of that?
Yeah, probably. Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
Food trucks
small
everywhere.
town Friday night football. Come on. How do you beat
I
that?
love it. I love it. It's tonight, Jim, we're at a little bigger town, but we're at the Lincoln Bowl in Tacoma. And I was doing my facts on the Lincoln Bowl and the history there. I did not know this. 1948, Oh, Nelly, the Penn State Nittany Lions rolled into Tacoma to take on the Washington State Cougars at the Lincoln Bowl.
No way.
Did we cover?
1948.
Did we cover?
I need to check. I haven't even got. I just got the stat that they played there in 1948.
1948.
Penn State versus Washington State.
Did we cover? Knowing that we lost. You know that we probably lost.
I think they were playing on.
Jim.
I think they were playing on sand back then, and then it was 8 years later, 1956. An artist by the name of. Any guesses?
Oh,
Frank Sinatra.
Good guess. Good guess.
I'm looking up with the game. What did you?
Okay, 1956 sold out Lincoln Bowl. Young man by the name of Elvis Presley performed.
Elvis Presley.
Elvis was there at the Lincoln Bowl?
Elvis performed at the Lincoln Bowl. Crazy.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. You going to bring all this stuff up on the broadcast tonight?
We lost. November 27th in front of 18,000 strong. We lost 7-0. The line was 7.5.
7-0 at the Lincoln Bowl.
7-0 at the Lincoln Bowl. It followed up concluded with 3 straight losses for the Cougs that year in 1948. Started with
pick any year.
40. Why did Washington State
44-14 at number 4 Cal? Then they lost 40-0 at number 12 Michigan State and were blanked by the Nittany Lions at the Lincoln Bowl 7-0.
Why did the Cougs come to the West Side and play at the Lincoln Bowl? Any idea?
No, but we used to play some games at the Kingdom back when I was in school.
They did defeat, back then they were playing at Rogers Field. They were playing on the
intramural field?
Yeah.
That's where they were playing.
Right between the stadium and the
Oh no, there. Okay, not
the field house.
That one. Okay, yeah.
They did defeat Washington that year, October 16th, 10-0.
They should release the Grizzly Bears one year just for fun.
Well, I still am blown away, Chris, that we actually had a live cougar out there on Stadium Way when I was in school. I mean, it's insane. We would drive by on Stadium Way and we'd look over at Butch, and it wasn't, Butch the mascot Butch. It was Butch in a cage, an actual cougar. It's every time I see the statue, I can't believe that we did that.
I'll have to take the gorgeous, it's kind of like the Beverly Hills of the state of Washington. I'll take Pack Ave, Tacoma Ave tonight to get to Lincoln Bowl. And I think
be careful.
Well,
Head on a swivel.
What was the store out there? I know it got very controversial. You talk about the live cougar, but wasn't there like the B&I and they had a live gorilla?
I think so. Yeah, might have been.
Ivan the gorilla. I'm trying to think of my.
That sounds right though.
Hey.
Bobo was at the Woodland Park Zoo, but there was one that was at somebody's store there in Tacoma.
I think it was like the B&I on Pack Ave or something like that.
They had a gorilla, a real gorilla.
I think a real gorilla. Check your facts there.
No, I'm with Egan on that one. Yeah,
you got the fact checker Puckett at your hand.
Why don't we have a live cougar at our games? We should. God, it'd be great.
Because people would be saying that it's animal cruelty or whatever.
Well,
like
I'll tell you why.
If it's a rescue cougar, why would it be animal cruelty? Don't the Huskies have a dog? Would that be animal cruelty?
Well, I actually did a news story in Boise. I think you could probably still look at my story when I was doing news for a year, where they had a VIP party at the zoo, and the VIP crew got a back look at the animals, and apparently somehow somebody left the tiger cage open. And a tiger jumped on one of the VIPs. So that's probably why, Puck, you want to steer clear from any.
It gets away, it gets away, Chris.
Do you remember when Sark brought a tiger to practice because they were going to play LSU and he wanted to simulate what it was going to be like for him?
Oh, Sark. Sarky Bear.
What game are you doing? I don't think you ever mentioned that.
Oh, there's the final big board of the year. And I got to give a shout out. To Carl Hoseth, principal of Lincoln High, who sent me pronunciations for every player on Lincoln. It's just as he Sione.
You have a lot of Polynesian kids at Lincoln,
yeah.
don't you? Yeah,
Uzia. I mean, he was great. So Carl Hoseth, former PLU football player, played on the national championship team for Frosty. Now the principal there. They got a great coach. If you ever want to look up a story, Masaki Matsumoto came from Los Angeles area. And he has just done a phenomenal job there at Lincoln High. And they will be facing tonight your defending 3A state baseball champions. Of course, this is football tonight, but a lot of those baseball players play on the football team. Mount Vernon making the trip from Mount Vernon all the way to Tacoma tonight. They're 6-3. Jake Whitman is the head coach. Jake Whitman, a graduate of Mount Vernon. His dad was a coach there. So they're trying to get their team back in the state playoffs for the first time in a while. So going to be a fun one tonight, Mount Vernon. And there's a lot of games. And then next week, going to be the state playoffs, which basically it's, in my mind, it's the state playoffs this week. It's just
they reseed it, right? It's a district.
Yeah.
I was talking to Milles about this, and then after Sunday, they'll reseed it.
Yeah.
Again. I do have an update on the story of about the 1948 game via Facebook.
Okay, good.
Yeah,
Good.
I got it. Now it doesn't say why they played there, that's what we're trying to figure out. But again, they lost at 7-0. Several notable Pierce County athletes. You may know some of these names.
Okay.
Included Tom Baker, Gordon Brunswick, Gordon Hanson, Don Lee, Bob McGuire, Don Paul, Glenn Rickett, Ken Spooner, and others. Ed Neal is the last living member of the 1948 team. As of last year, he turned 100.
Wow.
Last year. He worked at Bethel High School starting at its opening in 1952, serving as a shop teacher and then the head football coach for 15 years, the baseball coach for 4, and the AD from 1956 until 1981. The greatest all-around athlete in the history. Speaking of Fife High School, Don Paul was on that team. In addition, he played baseball as well. There you go.
Maybe, and this will be our last from the Lincoln Bowl, and we'll move on.
Okay.
Meanwhile, 1923 was the first ever Turkey Bowl game at the Lincoln Bowl. It was Lincoln versus Stadium. Stadium had an offensive lineman by the name of Herman Bricks.
Ooh.
Herman Bricks would go on and play for the Huskies, played in the 1926 Rose Bowl game. 2 years later, he won a silver medal in the Olympics.
Great.
Now here's where
what are you going to bring to the table, Jim? We've got stats.
Here's where
I feel bad for people who can't change the channel like they could.
Here's where it gets interesting.
They
Jim.
can't change the channel. They not turned it on.
Herman Bricks would become Tarzan.
Oh
wow!
Come on.
Yes! He played Tarzan throughout the 30s. Right. Herman Bricks from Stadium High would become awesome. Tarzan. I think he changed his name to something Bennett, but Herman Bricks was his name when he played football.
And the last note, and we'll move on.
Yeah, this is it.
and you have a connect. Both of you have a connection to this because you both have daughters, correct?
I can't wait.
Right?
How old is your edge of my seat?
How old is your daughter, Jim?
My daughter is 34 years old.
All right. Chris Egan, how old is your daughter?
She just turned 25. Happy birthday, Maddie.
1999. They've both watched this movie many times. They probably both have cried many times. 1999, there was a young star who was tragically passed by the name of Heath Ledger.
That was at Stadium High School.
Wasn't it that? Isn't that? That's at Stadium.
That Stadium.
Isn't that the same thing we're talking about?
No, they're different. They're different stadiums.
Egan mentioned Stadium.
Didn't you say
Stadium? If it was like the 1923 reference.
Stadium played Lincoln in the 1923.
Well, scratch that story. 10 things I hate about you.
Yeah, no, that's another historic venue. You are correct, Puck.
Yeah, screw you.
And I think Babe Ruth actually hit a baseball.
Try and bail him out there, Egan.
Yeah, well, thank you. Well, throw me a lifeline. Meanwhile, I don't know what you want to transition to, huh? I don't know where you want me to go. I don't know where you guys want to go other than No free
how
agent
about-
signings yet for the Mariners.
Well-
Seahawks are rolling.
At this time next week, both
Yeah.
you guys,
Oh, that's right. We'll know.
we will know who the American League MVP is. It will be announced next Thursday, I believe, if I'm looking at my calendar
next Thursday.
correctly. So I think it's
We think he's gonna win it, right, Jim? I mean, he's won every award.
Well,
Every
I'm
award
with,
that's coming.
I'm with you, though. I don't understand waiting until the middle of November
so
to
dumb.
announce this award.
oh, they're
so
just
The end of the
stretching this
regular
thing out.
season was what? I mean, it seems like it was a year and a half ago. I know. It was a
I
month-
just don't
month
know
and a half
why
ago.
they don't do it during one of these games. Pick the first 4 games and announce it.
Yeah.
on one of the off days.
What just the have the game 1, let's say it's the MVP. Game 1, maybe make that the announcement for MVP or Rookie of the Year or Cy Young. And then it's every time before a game, then you bring them out there, they get announced on the field. You have the moment, baseball.
Yeah. Moment, and you have momentum. They had I mean, it was just the playoffs are rolling. Why wouldn't you keep it going? Now people are moved on. They're
Moved on. They're into football now.
college
They're
basketball started.
Basketball
I mean,
started, yeah. Well,
There's
we're
all-
thinking Cal Raleigh's going to win, right? Isn't that mostly the
Yes.
feeling you're getting?
he's won everything. I would assume he's going to win it. Yeah. I like I said, I've maintained, I don't think it's going to be close, actually.
I don't think it should be. Yeah. I mean,
I think he's going to win it. I think he's going to win it pretty comfortably. My gut is
His team went farther in the playoffs, too.
Yeah, but the voting was before that.
Oh, well, never mind then.
Yeah.
that's what
Meanwhile.
baffles me is this voting. The voting has been in for so long, and it's just like,
Yeah, just
Come
get it
on.
over with. Now, the guy that's going to win the American League, Cy Young, for a second straight year, honed his craft and skills where the Moore twins dominated in high school and in club baseball. And that would be Bannerwood Park.
Stevie did hit a home run there.
You're damn right he did.
Yeah.
I've seen
Yeah.
it. I've seen the plaque.
Austin pitched well there. He had a
Yeah.
good new level
Tarik
game.
Skubal, your guy Buster Only, saying the Tigers are looking to move him, and one of the teams would be your Seattle Mariners. What does that do for you?
Well, brings a nice little lefty to the rotation.
Jim Moore?
Yeah, I hope they do it, but we all know that they won't. But it'd be just like it'd be a 1-year rental deal because they're not going to pay him $500 million or whatever it is that he's going to want. But
He wants
hell
a
of a
lot of money.
rental. Hell of a rental. You plug him into the rotation there, and boy, you're good to go, aren't you? And then you wouldn't have to give up quite as much with prospects, and you give him Castillo, maybe another pitcher, and then a prospect or two, since he is a 1-year rental type player, and the Tigers don't want to pay him. So yeah, you can make up a scenario where the Mariners might be involved in that, and only probably has some sources that tells them that they are. So hopefully he's right.
Chris Egan, what's your gut on Josh Naylor? You probably have been asked wherever you've gone, hey, what have you ever heard anything on Josh Naylor? Are they going to re-sign Josh Naylor? What is your reaction to the hens down in the South End asking you if they're going to bring back Josh Naylor?
I think he's coming back for sure. I think there's always that fear that the Dodgers could throw just some massive amount of money, but you know what? The Mariners have the money to get him, and they can overpay. I think what he did, not only on the field, not only in clutch moments, but he blends in with that locker room from somebody that had the chance to cover this team at the end of this all season long, but in the dugout and seeing just kind of how he gets along with the guys. I remember that loss in Detroit, and it was Gabe Spire, I think, had a rough inning. I want to say this is game 4. I'm thinking back here, but Naylor was just pumping everybody up, bringing everybody's heads ups in that locker room. And so I just think for what he does to this organization, overpay him if you have to and get him back here. And I think they will. I really do.
Jim Moore, recently you wrote a story. I can't remember if it was at Jim Moore, the go-to-guy.substack.com. By the way, if you sign up today, it's only a few dollars, and you can win every week a gift card to Dairy Queen if you submit the best question to Jim as he does his Q&A section every single week, again, at Jim Moore, the go-to guy.
Who doesn't love a good blizzard, Puckett? Who doesn't love a blizzard?
I think it's one of the greatest creations in the history of culinary art.
Do we know why they flip it for you when they show it to you?
They want to show that it's really super thick.
Is that what it is?
Chris, Are you new to this?
I don't need it. I just give it to me. I don't need you to do that. Just hand me the blizzard.
Got to show it to you. Look how thick it is.
I don't care. I'll tell you how thick it is when I eat it. I don't need you to show that. Just give it to me. Come on.
Hey, try a flamethrower there sometime too. The half-pound flamethrower.
What's that in there? What? Oh, the burger?
Yeah.
Oh, it's good. It's an underrated good burger too. It is. It's a good burger. It really is.
I do need to give you my favorite Dairy Queen story. We were at the North Hill Dairy Queen in Edgewood or Milton. I'm not even quite sure which one that's at.
No one knows.
Because it's like halfway. And my mom goes up to the counter and asks for a peanut butter parfait without the nuts.
Yeah.
And the young man at the counter says, "Well, ma'am, why don't we just give you a large hot fudge sundae for $1.50 cheaper?" And she goes, "Nope. I want the peanut butter parfait without the nuts." And then
because you get the hot fudge on the bottom, in the middle, and on top.
That's what Barbie.
Have her add Heath Bar. Have her add Heath Bar.
Barb did not want to listen to this guy.
Barb Egan is like, you don't listen, son.
Don't tell me about my peanut butter parfait.
I know. And happy birthday to Barb Egan, right? Was it this week?
Yep. 84 years old, Barb Egan.
84.
Helped her put in her tulips and daffodils yesterday. Just spent some good time up there. Yeah.
What a good son you are.
Great son. Jim, you wrote recently, I think it was at the TNT, your optimism about the Seahawks based off of Sunday. What are the Super Bowl odds as of now?
I think they're 11-1, and there's only 4 teams that have shorter odds than the Seahawks to win the Super Bowl.
Wow.
I think the Bills, the Chiefs, I forget the other 2, the Eagles. Anyway, the Seahawks are, and they're getting all this national publicity, and for good reason, right? It's not just the Sunday game. We've been seeing what they've been doing, winning 6 of the last 7.
Playing great.
Stacking up wins.
Yeah.
I mean, how many of us, Jim, want to get in that DeLorean and go back in time when Vegas had them at 7.5 wins? 7.5 wins.
Yeah,
I'm sure there's a lot of people that got in on that. I'm sure there's a lot of people that ended up taking the over. That seemed low at the time. I think we talked about that. It just didn't seem right at all.
Oh, but would you want to play the Seahawks right now? I mean, do you see another team in the NFL that you look at them and you go, yeah, well, they're a lot better than the Seahawks? I don't see that team right now.
I still think you look at the Chiefs, and despite their record and just it's the Chiefs maybe mystique and all that, but it's Mahomes, and you get into a game like that, who are you going to take? Well, you're gonna favor Patrick Mahomes. So yeah, I think there's some teams that you should be fearful of, but
I don't know. I'd take the Seahawks against the Chiefs right now. I think. Maybe later in the season I wouldn't, but
I think you look at that Sunday night game and people are like, "Oh, this is a statement win." I'll see a statement win when they knock off the Rams, who they're going to have to face twice. Still, that in my mind will be a big test. Now, interesting, Arizona's rolling into town, and I thought Arizona was just done for the season. And then they all of a sudden show up against the Cowboys. So, what are we going to see from Arizona on Sunday? That will be an interesting game, but. Those Rams games, and it should be fun as you look ahead. I got a feeling one of those Rams games is going to get bumped up on the Sunday Night Football in the prime time. So
if Sunday Night Football, where would that be?
Well, they play the Rams late in December, so I'm looking at
what
that.
Channel would it be on?
Oh, if it goes to Sunday Night Football, great question, Puck. That's going to be the Big 5, King 5 TV if it goes there. Your home.
You still have Sylvie with Walter Jones. Is Walter doing it?
Big Walt, Steve Rabel.
Walt, who never said anything when he was a player, and then he gets out and he's like, God, I got to find something to do here, and then we see him every Sunday night.
And I get to watch football with him every Sunday. I love it. Yeah.
And he's always the thing I love about Big Walt, and I've known him for years. Still always sweating. He's sweating hard.
I provide his towel off screen. I provide him with a sweat towel.
Sweating real hard, man.
No, I think obviously every coach will tell you next game, Arizona, but I want to see what happens in those Rams games. I think those will be the big test for this team.
Absolutely. You got to see, can they beat, because those are the two teams, right? They didn't beat the Niners earlier this season. and they've been going through everyone else, but they've got to beat those teams. You're 100% right. They got to show that they can beat the Niners, and they've got to show that they can beat the Rams, because those are the two teams in their way.
Yeah, but Puck, you talk about this team too and how good they are, and the power of some people, and they have them now number one, and they're not even running the ball right now, because I think a lot of people are just stacking the box against them. At one point now, you've got a deep threat, you've got a possession receiver, you've got possibly the number one receiver in the NFL right now in JSN. So people are going to have defenses are going to have to back off, and it will be interesting to see how the Hawks react with the run game. So we'll see, because they're. Go ahead, bud.
Well, I was just gonna close, but you want to finish that point up? I was just gonna close with something else.
No, I was just gonna say it's gonna be, because we know what Ken Walker and Charbonnet can do when they get rolling, and we haven't seen it yet this year, and so it will be. Arizona will be kind of the first team, like, okay, we've got to lay back and protect the pass game right here. So because Sam Darnold is on fire and Geno Smith is not.
Yeah, he looked terrible last night. I don't know, Chris, if you've done a story on this, and I don't mean to end on this, but I think it's an important story, and I saw it last night, and I think it's anyone that's seen this story, it affects you because of how old this girl was. But condolences go out to a University of Washington family, the soccer community, Mia Hammett, who was a player for the soccer team. She was a goalkeeper. She passed away yesterday. I did not know about this story. She had been having a real long battle with kidney cancer. She was just 21 years of age. And her coach, in a release yesterday, Nicole Van Dye, said she was the heart of the program, someone who lifted up everyone around her with joy, courage, and kindness. She was from Corte Madrid, California. She attended Redwood High School, before attending UW. As a junior last year, she was named the Big Ten Tournament All-Tournament team. She posted the third lowest single-season goals against average in program history. She passes away yesterday at the same time that the team is defeating Wisconsin in the semifinals of the Big Ten Tournament to advance to the championship game, which is Sunday against Michigan State at 11 a.m. Just prayers go out to that entire community. It's just a sad, sad story. And to see anyone at that 21, whole life ahead of you, it's terrible.
It is a heartbreaking story, Puck. We have covered it. That last year they started up a GoFundMe, and we've been kind of following her journey. And to hear that news yesterday, it hits you, because you mentioned 21. This young rising star athletic gal that just had a bright future ahead of her, and just taken way too early. And I guess, my final thoughts, as we've said it many times on this show, just enjoy every day, enjoy the people around you, hug them, love them. I started the show saying Brett's on a journey with his son Colt to go watch Eastern Washington. Just have the best time of your life there. I've got a story that's going to air next week on Mount Tahoma football. And we talk about Lincoln is the big game of the week. The young man transferred from Lincoln to Mount Tahoma. And I won't we'll air it next week and have the story for you. But the young man was shot and killed before his senior season at Mount Tahoma. The team is kind of rallied around him this year. They're undefeated. But I was out Mount Tahoma, and a couple of the kids said, "Yeah, Chris, we paid tribute to him out there on the fence, and there's his initials are on the fence, and then there's initials of 3 other kids." They're like, "What are the other kids?" And they basically said those kids were shot and killed too. And it's just sickening, things that are happening out there, from cancer to shootings to all this stuff. So just all I can say is just enjoy every day. That's all you can do right now, and love those around you, man. Life is just too precious. So once again, my heart to the UW soccer program, athletic program, and also to the kids at Mount Tahoma that have been playing with heavy hearts this year as well.
Yeah, I'll tell you, when I saw that story, I was just like 21, and I thought, God, my boys are 21 right now. And you just shake your head and you think about the parents and what they're going through right now. And it sounds like she was not only a terrific player, but a terrific kid. And she was showing up at all the games, the ones that she could go to this year, and supporting her team. And it's just, just such a sad story to hear that. And this is one of those times that we're going to wish the Huskies well, Puck, because we're going to hope that soccer team goes all the way with this.
Yeah, it'd be a tough one for them. I mean, very heavy hearts on Sunday, but good luck to them. Hopefully they can knock off the Spartans, and they obviously will have Mia, on their shoulders, helping them out there on Sunday. All right, Chris. Let's see. King 5 tonight, King 5 Plus. We got Mount Vernon and Lincoln at the Lincoln Bowl, not Stadium High School.
At Lincoln Bowl. We got 5:45. We'll have the Lincoln Abe cheerleaders. We got the drum line 6:45. Then King 5 Plus. Obviously, we'd love to have Puckett in the booth, but tonight,
you didn't invite me.
It's kind of in my broadcast journey, the first show I ever did was called the Loot Sports Profile. It started in 1991, a little bit inspired by Frosty Westering. And one of the first folks I had on the show was the quarterback by the name of Carl Hoseth, who started a segment called Carl's Den. Fast forward to today, Carl is now the principal at Lincoln High. So Carl's going to join me in the booth tonight. We haven't been together on a TV show since 1994.
Very cool.
So yeah, it'll be a fun moment. So
this the last one?
I think this is the last streaming one. Yes. I think the goal, though, I'm telling everybody that's listening, is this thing went very well this year. If we could dream big, we're going to be around in basketball season, but if we could dream big, it will be Jason Puckett and Chris Egan calling the state championship games on King 5 Con TV in the future. So that, what? Let's keep dreaming big and get these kids back on the air.
It's free.
So
hey, WIA, that would be free. You don't have to pay. A site.
Way to go. Yeah.
Watch the championship game. I don't know. Maybe make it free. Be a good idea. All right, Egan, have a great call tonight.
All right. Thanks, boys.
See you, Chris.
Here he is, Chris Egan from King 5 Television with us here every single week. All right. No Troy Winstead. He was traveling. He did send his picks in. Okay. You want to go? We can go through the picks before we say goodbye to you. And then we welcome in Todd Milles for Friday Night Lights, getting you all covered on all the district playoff action tonight in high school football. Best time of the year. And then it's the last word with Bob Condotta. All right. You want me to go through the picks? Let's just.
I missed his picks. I don't see that I was on that text exchange.
He just sent it to me. I'm sorry.
Okay. All right.
Sorry about that. I'll go through them and then we'll disagree with him on every pick. Okay.
Okay. Yeah.
All right. He's got Iowa. He's taken the Hawkeyes plus 6.5 against Oregon. This has been the big pick all week. Everyone is picking Iowa. Everyone. And what do you say when everyone in the public goes one way? What does the go-to guy do?
You either stay away from the game and not bet it at all, or you go the other way and bet it with both hands. So you're saying Oregon is the play then?
I'm going to take, maybe the Iowa does cover, but everyone's taking Iowa to win. I think Oregon goes in there and beats them. That Iowa offense is still nothing to write home about, and I think Oregon will get it together. I think they just have better playmakers, better athletes on the field, and I think they win the game.
It's interesting. John Wilner from the Mercury News, they carry his stuff in the Seattle Times too.
Sure
but
do.
The Huskies have to root for Oregon now, and Oregon needs to root for the Huskies.
Well,
so that they can both have up their resumes for when
Sure.
they play in the final game of the year. And so Duck fans are rooting for the Huskies to beat Wisconsin. And then it's going to be weird, I imagine, for a Husky fan, because normally you'd be wanting Iowa to win, but you need Oregon to win to improve your resume so you can maybe make it in the playoff.
Washington, it will surprise you. He's taken the Huskies. I don't think he's ever picked against the Huskies in the years that we've been doing this with him. Washington is favored by 10.5 at Wisconsin. He likes the Huskies going into Camp Randall. I don't know much about the Badgers other than what I read and have seen the stats, and offensively they are terrible. I did see where they're bringing back Luke Fickell. I would assume most Husky fans are already on their way there. It is one of the best, and I've been there twice. It's one of the best environments in all of college football. It's unbelievable.
What's that jump around thing like to be there?
Very cool. I think it's in the
end of the third quarter.
Into the third quarter. Yeah, it's great. It's just it's a cool environment. People are great. The bars, it's the main street down through downtown by the campus is just it's bars everywhere. All the Greek Row is right by the stadium. It's awesome. Just a fun time. All right, you like that pick? You like Washington minus 10.5 against Wisconsin? It seems like they're going to win that game.
Yeah, I think so.
Easily.
I think so.
The Seahawks, he's got the Seahawks -6.5 against Arizona. Who do we like? I don't know. This might be a tight one. I'm not sure I agree with Troy on that one. I might take Arizona plus the points.
Yeah, division game. And maybe that line's inflated a little bit off of how they played Sunday night.
Yeah.
Brissett, they love Brissett. Kyler Murray probably never going to play for the Arizona Cardinals again. No, it's a tough one. I'd probably take the Cardinals in 6.5.
Yeah, I think I would. I think I'm with you. I would take the Cardinals in this one. They play tight games. Yes, they're the better team. And Arizona's got a bunch of guys out, by the way, but it's just one of those weird games. They always kind of play them tight. All right. So we both kind of like Arizona. He likes the Seahawks. Ravens -4.5 at Minnesota. I'll dance with him. Yeah.
He's taking Baltimore in that one.
Yeah, he's taking Baltimore. Taking the Ravens -4.5.
Yeah, the Ravens with Jackson back. Yeah, on the road. Yeah, they should be able to do it. Although the Vikings coming off a big win against the Lions.
They are. All right. But I'm going to go with the Ravens. I think Troy gets that one right. All right. His lock of the week. He has taken Danny Dimes and the Colts -6.5 against the Atlanta Falcons. And Michael Penix.
That's a game that's in Berlin, I think I heard.
In Berlin, it is. Yes, it is.
Yeah. So that's 6:30 in the morning game.
Yeah. Who doesn't like that?
Yeah. You get up and have some action right away. So he's given 6.5 to the Falcons.
Yeah.
All right.
He's taking. What did I say? Hold on. Let me make sure I got it right. He's taking the Colts -6.5.
Colts -6.5.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. We'll see. That's always a weird one to bet on those games over there, though. Neutral field. You don't know, the travel and everything, who it's going to affect more.
You have a game in mind that you like as your Jim Moore smoking lock of the week?
I have a game in mind. I'm going to take Nebraska, the Cornhuskers. I think they're getting 1.5 or 2.5, something like that, against UCLA in the Rose Bowl.
Well, it can't be something like that. What the hell's the line?
Well, I didn't really think I was going to be doing it today because you told me that Troy wasn't going to be.
Oh,
it's 1.5. UCLA favored by 1.5.
Be prepared, sir.
I'll take Nebraska as a pick 'em as my lock. I don't care.
1.5 against at UCLA.
And it's one of those things where I think Jerry Neuheisel came in and they got that emotional lift from Neuheisel's kid. And now they're in the Rose Bowl, and the Bruins shouldn't be favored, but they are because Nebraska's starting quarterback is out. Nebraska's starting a freshman. But I think in the long term, that usually hurts a team. In the short team, everybody rallies around. God, we don't have our senior quarterback, so we're going to do everything we can, everything in our power to win. And so Nebraska straight up against UCLA.
Okay.
Do I sound like one of those 1-900 guys?
Yeah, and get my 5-star luck. If you pay, you go there.
That's
now.
at jimwins.com.
Yeah, well, you got it. I like it. No video last week of a celebratory locker room where everyone's like, "Look at Jerry Neuheisel. He sounds just like his dad." When they lost by 50, I didn't see any of those videos last week.
Have you ever seen a kid who looks and sounds more like his dad than Jerry Neuheisel?
You're right. He does. He absolutely does. All right.
Who you got? You give me a hard time for not being prepared.
I got one. I'm going back and forth. I'm going to take the Bucks at home. They're favored by 2.5 against the Patriots. Let's see. The Patriots are kind of this paper 7-2 team, right? They've won how many in a row? 6 in a row. Who have they beaten in that time? Well, they did beat the Bills. But they're who have they beat on the road, Jim Moore? I guess Bills, sir.
I don't know, but those yelling shows this morning, they were talking about Drake May being the MVP. He's been that good.
Well, he's been very good. I'm going to take Baker Mayfield and the Bucks at home -2.5.
All right, I like that.
Okay. All right, we went a little long today.
Did we? Oh, that's all right. It's okay.
Have a wonderful weekend.
Do you have any more, before I leave, do you have any more Lincoln Bowl fun facts, like from maybe the 19 teens?
Oh.
Or how about the 1800s, maybe?
I can find something.
That was really riveting. And
I don't appreciate that you saying that was not riveting. Hey, what do you, real quickly before you go, since everyone knows and it's been documented what a lover of dogs you are.
I am, yeah.
Would you ever clone one of your dogs?
Oh, yeah. I heard about that story with Tom Brady. No, I don't think I would.
He's a weird dude.
Do you feel like you're bringing your dog back to life in some respects if you do that?
I think that's what he thinks. For people who don't know, his dog passed away 2 years ago. Pit Rottweiler mix, I think. And he cloned the dog. And his dog now is the same dog. Different name. Why don't you just call it the same name?
Well, what did he do? So, like, when his dog died before he cremated it, he saved some blood or something, or
I guess his dog Lua died in 2023. Cloned the dog. He's an investor in some type of animal cloning business. I thought that was illegal. Apparently not. And he cloned his new dog Junie.
Yeah, I don't think that would occur to me after River dies that I'd be, I think I'll save some of his blood and
just
recreate River. It doesn't make sense to me, but I wonder what you have to pay to do that.
Well,
I know
probably a lot of money.
No money, no object with Brady, but
very odd.
It's weird. Yeah.
It is weird. All right, have a great weekend. Go Cougs, and we'll see you Monday.
Okay, Puck, go Cougs.
All right, there he is, Jim Moore, the go-to guy, who's with us every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, brought to you by his great sponsors. Big thanks to all of them. Brian Turner, you're the best. A clean streak, all of your window cleaning needs. Also, Bright Owl Lighting in Pierce County or Skagit County, and also in parts of King County. If you want Christmas lights installed, Bright Owl Lighting. We had it done last year. We're going to have it done again this year. Great. Brian and his crew are fantastic. Go visit brightowllighting.com. See if they can do lights where you live. Also, big thanks to Brad Brotherton, Brotherton Cadillac, brothertoncadillac.com, and the Angry Beaver. And Matt Baker and the crew over there in Greenwood, fabulous sports bar. It's got everything, hockey, football, what have you. Great spot, great food, great drinks, great atmosphere there at the Angry Beaver. Okay, our Friday football tailgate show continues. We welcome coming up next. It's Todd Milles, VarsityWaNews.com. We get you caught up on everything in high school football. District playoffs beginning tonight, Friday Night Lights with Todd. And then we talked to Bob Condotta. Last word with BC from the Seattle Times, talking all things Seattle Seahawks. Both are brought to you by Flat Stick Pub and Georgetown Brewery. If it's fun you desire, it's fun you're going to get at Flat Stick Pub. It doesn't matter what the occasion is, whether it's date night, guys night, ladies night, or large group event, Flat Stick Pub's got you covered. They have 6 great locations across the Pacific Northwest, from Pioneer Square to Kirkland, South Lake Union, Spokane, Bellingham, and Redmond. All locations offer the best pub experience in Washington. 2 rules at Flat Stick Pub: drink local and have fun. Pretty simple. So if you like to have fun, love local beer, and great tasting food, make Flat Stick Pub your next spot. Visit them at flatstickpub.com.
Jones right up the middle, touchdown, Eastside Catholic. Rolling out is Cobb. Now he goes back. Oh, it's intercepted.
Oh, my goodness. And it
on the way. Jason Wilson could go. Yes, touchdown, Irish. Rolling to the near side.
He's keeping it. He's in.
And he's in for the touchdown. Leo.
9, 8, 7, Moser. Has to go. 2 seconds. He puts it back.
Here we go. It's another edition of Friday Night Lights with our guy, Todd Milles, VarsityWaNews.com. Follow him on social media. Many hats, Milles, the personal one. Varsity Wa News is the company. And, of course, he has started a brand new website covering all things high school sports. And, of course, we're concentrating high school football. Once again, VarsityWaNews.com. Also, check out the YouTube page, Varsity Wa News, and the podcast platforms and all your favorite ones. Apple, Spotify, does not matter. Varsity Wa News. Friday Night Lights with Todd Milles. We preview all the best games coming up in Friday Night Football, and we've made it. Todd Milles, it is playoff time. First round of the playoffs gets underway tonight. It goes by fast. We talk about this all the time, how quickly this season goes.
This season goes faster than anything in the winter and the spring, man. Yesterday we were taking an Eastern Washington tour all around training camps and figuring out 95-degree weather in the Tri-Cities, and now here we are in the bitter cold of playoff football, which is what we all like.
I'm going to ask you a wild card here real quick. I didn't prep you for this one. Going back to August when you were going around, who's a team that you did not think was, I don't think they're going to be quite that good, that has surprised everyone, and regardless of classification?
Based on the training camp visit, I thought, Eastside Catholic's numbers were down. They were breaking in a new quarterback. They had a couple transfers from Alaska. I was just, they had lost one of their best linebackers to IMG Academy in the offseason. I thought they were going to be good. I didn't think they would be semifinal state championship good. And then I saw them against O'Day, and I really liked their team. I know they lost to O'Day, and they've rolled everybody else, but that was a team I kind of sort of had a mishit on. I should probably never underestimate Eastside Catholic. They're always good. I mean, they've been good for 2 decades, but they're better than I thought they would be, given the fact that their numbers were a little bit down. But their new guys have really stepped up and played good football.
Okay, let's get to the games that we're going to highlight for this week. You and our guy Chris Egan will be at the same game, so we'll get to that. We'll save that one for the end. Let's go to the 4A level. It's kind of a reunion between these two teams, in a sense. Meade is traveling across the mountains. They're 6-3. They're taking on Eastlake at 4-4.
Yeah, that's a tough one. And you talked about the reunion. Kyle Snell used to coach at Eastlake, took him to the state semifinals before moving back to Spokane. He played at Whitworth College and wanted to be closer to family, and was at Lewis and Clark last year and took over the Meade program this year. And now he gets to go back to the Plateau and face his old school. I actually like Meade in this game. I know they're the lower seed, better defense. They've got Max Fuagu, the GSL's leading rusher. A lot of this really kind of depends on how good Landon Thomas is. When he's good, they're really good. But their defense is super. Garrett Miller is a linebacker that nobody over here on the west side knows. He's just a tackling machine in the middle of the field. And they got a kid in Cooper Danes at defensive end that's a real disruptor. Just really like this defensive line. They've had a couple late hiccups against Cheney and Mount Spokane, but showed really well against Gonzaga Prep. With Eastlake, I just don't know what we're going to get. I mean, they played a tough schedule, and Greg Hurd's in his first year, and he will get it turned around. But it just hasn't really been consistent, Jason, especially on defense, and which is surprising because Colby Johnson is going to Colorado. He's their really good linebacker. Just hasn't looked good. I know he missed half of the year with a little bit of a back injury, and they haven't been able to stop the run. They're one of the worst defenses just stat-wise in the Kinko. They really rely on Miles Johnson. If they're going to have any chance, they really need Ryder Barry Smith to give him something in the pass game. If not, this Meade defense could really dictate the action and walk away with the victory.
Okay, over in 3A, now we've talked about this team a lot, right? Because they've been one of the surprise teams in the 3A level. Like it's kind of out of nowhere. Mount Lake Terrace is 8-1. They'll be at home, 7:00 kickoff tonight against Seattle Prep, and Seattle Prep enters that game at 5-3. Todd, can Mount Lake Terrace keep it up?
Man, I hope Hawks Nation gets up for this first playoff game, a home playoff game at Edmond Stadium. Coming off their first divisional championship in 60 years. Yeah, they lost to Cedro Woolley in the league championship game. Really good defense. We've talked about this team a lot. Mason Wilson, a good dual threat. Owen Boswell really leads that defense and is a good running back. But the Metro League just at this time of year, it's when the men separate from the boys, and the Metro League always separates itself. Seattle Prep might be the number 4 seed in the Metro League, but they're still a borderline top 10, top 12 team in the state. I know they lost. Ezra Mall, their really good running back, slot receiver, to a broken foot a couple weeks ago. But have you seen Sam Davidson? He's 6'7". He's a monster coming off the edge. It's going to be very interesting to see how Mount Lake Terrace defends him, given the fact that he's such a disruptor in the backfield. And they still got Wynn Chandler. He's a D1 lacrosse recruit at tight end. Oh, let me see. Also, Riley Cahill at running back. And then Leo Harnato has stepped in at quarterback and has kind of maintained that sort of dual threat legacy the Panthers have. They went to Lakes when Lakes was a high seed last year. I expect Seattle Prep to do that again. They have no problem going on the road to win games. It sucks for Hawks Nation. I'd like to see them continue. It's a great story around the state, but I think Seattle Prep finds a way to win this game.
Okay, a game that you're going to be at tonight, and so is Chris Egan for the King 5 big game of the week. It's interesting. We were just talking about this venue with my 12-year-old son. For some reason, he's watching the 10 Things I Hate About You movie this week, and it comes up Lincoln High School, Lincoln Bowl, where they filmed some of the movie there. Mount Vernon comes in at 6-3, Lincoln at 6-3. Friday night, tonight, 7 o'clock at Lincoln Bowl. Who do you like in this one?
Well, if you're going on pedigree, the Abes have been to the state playoffs in 9 of the last 11 full seasons. Masaki Matsumoto, the coach, has sort of elevated what John Kitna started when he was hired in 2012, the former NFL quarterback who was with the Seahawks. I don't know what to expect from this offense. They have one of the best quarterback prospects in the Northwest in Sione Kaho. And he's had an okay year, 1,600 yards, 15 touchdowns. But it just doesn't seem like the offense really fires on all cylinders in the pass game for whatever reason. I know they have a really young offensive line. I actually think their best weapon is Jadion Scranton, 1,000-yard rusher. He's a big running back. I saw this last year when they played Rainier Beach in the district round, and they really kind of relied on the run game. Yeah, I know the weather gets worse and the teams get better, but it seems like, the Abes are going to really ride the rushing attack and let Sione make some good plays off play action. But for one of the best quarterbacks in the state, you'd expect, something closer to Brady J numbers or Ryan Harrington numbers. And Lincoln has not really gotten that from Sione in his time there. He's a junior. When he has time, he's a really good quarterback, really refined mechanics. But I don't know really what's misfiring in this pass offense. Mount Vernon might have the best perimeter guy on the field in Jay Davis. He's a really good wide receiver. This has been a fun team. They have not won a state game since 1984. They haven't been to the state playoffs since 2018, but has played everybody tough. A really fun team that scores a lot of points. I expect Lincoln to win, but I also expect tonight to be a high-scoring game. And Mount Vernon to show very, very well in its first postseason trip in a while.
Okay, Todd, as we get ready for the first round of the games getting underway here tonight and then in all classifications, let's go through the favorites quickly here if we can. Let's go through all classifications. You know this stuff top to bottom better than anyone. 4A, we'll start with 4A. Who are the favorites in the 4A?
I mean, I think what Puyallup's done, they've just sort of bulldozed the entire 4A SBSL. Well deserving on earning the number 1 seed, but I like Lake Stevens a lot. If you don't face them and know how Tom Tri sort of manipulates open space, you can see it all you want on tape. But if you haven't seen it, it's really, really hard to defend. And so I expect Lake Stevens to be serious factors with Puyallup. And then over in Spokane, with all those seniors, the championship elite, they were in the state semifinals last year, Gonzaga Prep. Those 3 teams, but do not sleep on Sumner, Jason. They've had a really rough path, but having seen them last week, they've settled down. They look different. They look quietly confident. They're playing with that quiet intensity and rage that Keith Ross wants. They're going to be a really, really tough out. They've made some adjustments on offense that I think have helped and protected that pass game. But do not be surprised if Sumner makes another deep run. And Graham Kapowsin too. They were in the 4A SBSL championship here a week ago, and it still has a lot of things to hang its hat on.
Hey, I don't have the actual bracket right in front of me. You'll know this. Are Lake Stevens and Puyallup on the same side, or would the only chance they meet is in the championship game?
Well, I mean, that's going to be determined on Sunday when they reseed the state bracket. Okay. But right now, based on the round of 32 bracket, they would be on opposite sides. In fact, Puyallup, if it's based on the district seeding, Puyallup probably a little bit on the easier side. If you look on the other, it's Lake Stevens, Gonzaga Prep, and Sumner on one side. They could all kind of bump into one another, and that would make for a serious road to the state championship.
Why do they reseed after this?
Just the district is a bigger committee. I think there are going to be some upsets, especially in the lower seeds, and they just again, Kamiakin, I could get on and on and on about some of the things that they do. I don't know if we've talked about this, but Kamiakin was sort of preceded before they played. They're going on the road this weekend to play Bethel as a 17 seed. They're better than a 17 seed, but they had to they had to precede them because, before their pigtail game on Tuesday. So that could be a team that gets reseeded at the state level, and then it obviously would shake up the bracket. So just a few tweaks here and there.
All right, let's get to the 3A. Who do we like as we get underway here in districts tonight?
Well, I like O'Day. They've weathered the storm. They're getting healthier. Jay Sean Wilson has really kind of saved that offense the first half of the year. That defensive front's getting healthier. I like O'Day, but I think Eastside Catholic and Mount Tahoma are two teams to really look forward to. Talent-wise, they can at least match up much better with O'Day, but I like the Irish and Monte Kohler to repeat.
Okay. 2A?
Yeah, I mean, this might be the most convincing favorite in all of the classifications. Archbishop Murphy, with all those seniors, we've talked about them, and I've watched them play two-time defending state champ Anna Cornice and kind of dismantle them. They would be a semifinal team in 4A and 3A, Jason. I think we've talked about it. They're loaded. They haven't even really been tested. They're well rested. It would take them to sort of self-implode and for somebody to play really well to beat them.
What about 1A? We'll wrap it up there.
Man, I'm not betting against Royal, man. 5-time defending champ. But Cashmere's really good. And I think the couple teams up north, Linden Christian and Mount Baker, play a good brand of football to give Royal and Cashmere some trouble. But I like those 4 teams in 1A.
Okay, let's go to who's on the upset alert tonight?
Yeah, we talked about it. I think Eastlake's on upset alert in 4A. In 2A, there was an unfortunate circumstance where, and I've written about this in this week's Eastern Washington Notebook, where the 2A Greater Spokane League rep wasn't on the call last week, so they just kind of took their league champion and made him the 16 seed. They're barely having a home game. West Valley of Spokane, which went undefeated in their league, severely underseeded. They're a top 10 or 11 team. But they're playing a really good team too in Aberdeen. So that's what happens when you place a really good team at 16. You're going to face a good team at 17. And Aberdeen has the run game to go over to Spokane and beat them. So they're probably on upset alert. Okay. And then in the 3A, I don't really know if there's a super good call there. I do like Gig Harbor going to Cedro Woolley and making it a good game. They both run the wing tee. But I don't really see anybody in the 3A ranks that I'm totally comfortable about. And then in 1A, Kings going to Nooksack Valley. Kings has already beaten them. And then Colville hosting OMAC in the 16-17 game. And this is a rematch from some close game earlier in the year. So, both of those lower seeds could win in the 1A bracket. All
right, go check out all of his work, varsitywanews.com. Go spend the money. It's $5, people. It's a cup of coffee. You can afford it. Look in the couches. You don't even need to look in the couches. You love great high school coverage, and especially football, but he's going to be covering all of it. It is top-notch. A complete breakdown on all of the classifications up there right now at varsitywanews.com. This isn't just 4A or 3A. He does the same work for 2A and 1A. He gives the upset alerts, the teams to look for, all of the matchups. In addition to that, check out the podcast. You can find it up on YouTube and all podcast platforms at Apple and Spotify, Varsity Wa News. They have a preview that's out there this week right now. I listened to it. It's fantastic. A great interview with the Life Christian head coach. Is it Life Christian, right? Am I getting that right?
Herschel Dennis, the wonderful running back. Yeah.
Wonderful interview there. It was great. I love that. And then also he'll be along with his buddies tonight as they wrap up all the scores from the district playoffs, probably coming out late tonight, early Saturday morning. Varsity Wa News on all podcast platforms. Friday Night Lights, Todd Milles, varsitywanews.com. Thank you, Todd. Always appreciate it.
Yep. See you next week, Jason.
All right, coming up next, last word with Bob Condotta of the Seattle Times. We talk all things Seattle Seahawks.
Drink Georgetown Tavern Beer, your new locally brewed domestic-style lager. 4.2% alcohol. Cheap, good, local.
You know that if you prepare well, your team is probably going to play well. You're not always going to win, but they're going to play hard, and they're going to go out there and give good performance. You can live with that.
Today we're going to talk about our next opponent.
we go. It is time for the last word with Bob Condotta of the Seattle Times, his former Seahawks coach. The late, great Chuck Knox brings us in every single Friday. Bob's weekly appearance brought to you by Georgetown Brewery, makers of Manny's Pale Ale, Bodie's Zaffa IPA, Rogers Pilsner, and, of course, their brand new Tavern Beer. Tasting room and beer garden open 10 a.m. to 8 p.m. every single day. Visit georgetownbeer.com. The thing I love about that video, and if people have to go back and watch it, I need that windbreaker. He's got that windbreaker on, that old school one. God, I need that. And it leads me into what we saw on Sunday night. You and I, we love uniforms. Can you just explain this? Because I have this question. I think everybody else has the same question. And I know you've got the answers, Bob Condotta of the Seattle Times, because you have the answers to everything. Why can they not wear those permanently?
Well, they could. They would just have to get rid of, their new uniform that they debuted in 2012 and that they like a lot and all that. So you could go back to that, but the NFL keeps sort of tweaking and relaxing the uniform rules a little bit. They've resisted this for a little while. There was the one helmet rule for a while that made it hard for teams to really go with multiple uniforms and stuff like that. And the NFL seems to be, much more open to this. So it wouldn't surprise me if in a few years teams are allowed to have far more flexibility in how often they wear these uniforms and kind of can do what they want, things like that. So, right now you're sort of, they kind of have the 4 uniforms. They had to go to this a couple years ago. They filed with the NFL. They have the 4. They had to get rid of the wolf gray basically. And, so that they could keep this and the action green or the lime green or whatever you want to call that. And then what are their other 2 uniforms? But, so that's sort of the 4 they have for like this 4-year period through 2000, I guess. This is 25, so through 6, 7 into 28, maybe. But it wouldn't surprise me if the NFL kind of relaxes that, because I think they're seeing that NFL fans will continue to buy all these all the time, and that's what I think will help sway them.
Who do I need to talk to over there with the Seahawks? Who do I? Puck Sports. Who do I need to put pressure on, Bob? Is it Chuck Arnold? Is that
Chuck
the
Arnold.
Former Coug? Okay.
Yeah,
well,
I was going to say,
Chuck.
fellow WSU grad Chuck Arnold. I think he's class of 94 or something like that. Hit up Chuck. I mean, he's ultimately the guy at the top of this. But you get, I do, like I say, they do definitely take directions from the NFL on this stuff, and the NFL likes the fact that I think right now they like the trend of the retros are sort of a thing that all these teams do a couple times a year. I think they've proven to be really big sellers. I think you go to any stadium around and you see fans wearing these a lot, wearing the retro jerseys and stuff like that. So, for a while, I know they wanted to avoid like the Oregon Duck thing, because what the NFL has felt like they've really been built on is the identifiability. Like, you see the Raiders, you see the Cowboys, typically you see those old jerseys, you know exactly what that is, who that are. And you can go to basically anywhere in the world, and if someone's wearing that, they know that's the Dallas Cowboys. Right. So that's the Oakland, Las Vegas, LA, whatever. That's the Raiders. The Bears, the Packers. There's these really super identifiable things, and they did really like that. So they didn't want teams just changing all the time and having it. They felt like there was real value in that, because obviously, you don't see the players' faces and stuff. It's not like basketball that's all built on. Nobody cares what jersey LeBron's necessarily wearing, because you know what LeBron is, you know who LeBron is, and all that. But in football, they felt like that's really important. So I think that's always played into it. But we'll see. Like I say, it wouldn't surprise me if at some point they kind of relax this a little bit, and you could at least see them wear those more often. What's missing, and people in some new Seahawks fans don't even realize there might be. I think it's a debate, but I'd be swayed that the royal blue is better. You can make a debate that the old road whites are actually the cleanest look that they have. Now, they've never worn that ever. They still haven't done it yet. And I don't think they have plans to do it. No, they don't. They don't have plans to do it. There was a tweet in July or something like that from somebody who threw that out there, and everybody got really excited. But there was no truth to that they were ever going to do that this year. But like I say, for right now they have this plan. I wrote all this in a story at some point. I can't, but it was like they have a 4-year thing. So for now, this is what they have for the next couple of years. So they can't change anything for a couple of years unless the NFL relaxes.
I'm sending an email as we speak, Bob Condotta, to Chuck Arnold right now. Just change it. They're too beautiful. And now with how the designs, and we've just gotten better at the designs and the color and all of it. It's just so good. The helmets, all of it. God, I want him to go back to that desperately. And then on top of it, we'll just quickly talk about Sunday night. Then we'll move to the other storylines, of course, the trade, looking ahead to Arizona. They played like they were the best team in the NFL on Sunday. I mean, I know what Washington's got, and they got injuries and all of that, and defensively they're not all that good. But boy, I mean, Sam Darnold, you couldn't have asked for a better half of football from those guys.
Yeah, no, it was really impressive. I mean, Washington, if you recall, won the coin toss, decided to take the ball. Like it's Sunday night, we're gonna, and Dan Quinn, we're coming off this tough loss, so and Jaden Daniels is back. We're gonna go try to get some excitement in the stadium because there wasn't a lot. There was not that was a pretty down atmosphere there. Especially as the Seahawks started scoring, and the defense stops. I think there was one first down maybe, but the defense stops them, gets the ball back, and then the Seahawks just go right down the field and score, and then suddenly it's 21-0 after the turnovers, and it was as impressive, I thought, as impressive as a win as they've had in the McDonald era, given that going on the road against what on paper I think can still be a good team. They're not, obviously Washington's got some issues right now, especially with the injuries, but to just go in that kind of setting, on a long trip, Sunday night football, all that, and just decide the game basically 20 minutes in that this is over, and then even to come out, I thought really in the second half as well, to totally stop them in the third quarter and go down and add another and make it 38-7, and just completely end it. I mean, you could have argued maybe that getting the quick turnover on the kickoff and stuff like that, well, that's a little fluky or whatever. Are you really the dominant team? And then but they just continued to play. It's the most dominant team the entire game.
What was this now going to the trade deadline? Was this kind of on your radar? Is this kind of what you expected them to do?
In terms of adding Rashid Shaheed, yeah, I thought they would do something. I really do feel like there's a real chance to do something this year. I mean, not only are they playing well and maybe a little bit better than they thought they might be playing at this point, but you just look around, there's no dominant team anywhere. I mean, the Kansas City Chiefs still, again, the best team in football, but they look, they don't certainly look like the 85 Bears or something like that. I mean, there's years where you look and there's some team and you're like, well, there's no way we're probably going to beat those guys. There's nobody like that this year, so there's no reason at all if the Seahawks could get home field advantage that they can't think, we could get to the Super Bowl this year. I mean, there's zero, I think they were looking to upgrade the team. I know some people thought they tried to make some moves to maybe even do some more than they did. I know it was regarded as a really tough in general. There were some moves made, but John Lynch came out publicly and was like, this was a hard market to make trades in. Teams were really asking for a lot. The teams that did have guys that people might have wanted were asking for an awful lot for them, trying to create bidding wars and things like that. And so, I think the Seahawks still gave, they didn't give up a ton for Shaheed, but still, right now they only have 4 picks in next year's draft. So, they did have, they have their top 3. So it's not like they're barren of picks, but still they had to make a little bit of a decision, like, we're going for the now kind of thing. And, they'll probably re-sign Shaheed, and he's only 27. So, it's not, he can be a piece of their future for sure. So they can look at it that way. Still, I think they definitely were playing for the now and trying to do what they felt like they realistically could do and made sense to do to improve the team for right now.
Do you think if Cooper Kupp has not missed a game, is completely healthy, having a good season, do they make this move?
Yeah, I think this was something that was on their radar from the start.
Okay.
This specific move, I don't know about just adding any receiver, but this specific move, yes, because of the ties Shaheed has with it's not just Clint Kubiak, but the Seahawks basically hired all of the New Orleans Saints offensive coaching staff from last year. It's both line coaches and Andrew Janocko and things like that. So one of the quarterbacks coach. So so that connection, the fact that it's a really similar system, they felt felt like this is a guy who can come in and help us immediately because he'll know the system pretty well, and just the return game and stuff like that he can do as well. That this is a guy we can plug in and play immediately, and all that. And the fact that he's healthy, if he got hurt a couple weeks ago, maybe they don't make it. But the fact that he's healthy and everything, they know he can help right now. So yeah, this specific move I think was on their radar all along.
Do you think they avoided a major scare with Ernest Jones?
It appears so, yeah. I mean, they have not put him on IR, and he was out there at practice, listed as limited yesterday. We saw him doing he had a little bit of a brace on. I mean, no brace is little, I guess. I mean, it was a brace on his leg and on his knee area, but he was also doing some running out there, and so we'll see what they declare him as. He'll probably, I would imagine, I guess, be listed as questionable or something like that going into the game. The good news is, I think they feel really comfortable right now with Drake Thomas handling that. I mean, obviously, you'd rather it be Ernest Jones because he's your starter, but I think they feel really comfortable with Drake Thomas and handling the green dot role and all that. Yeah. And I think they were really heartened by the way Tyrese Knight came in and played the rest of the game. Ended up with 9 tackles, and there's always that. Basically, he'd been benched. He really didn't play the previous 2 games, and how is especially a young guy going to react to that? And so I think they'll probably be cautious with Ernest a little bit if they can. If they feel like they need to be. But again, the fact that it's he was out there practicing, obviously Mike McDonald was sort of vague on what the test results showed, because that's kind of how he's being in season. But again, the fact that Ernest was out there shows it's not an overly significant injury.
But the update, I'm sure people know, but Julian Love IR, out for 4 games. And again, it's a loss in the secondary. They have not had that group together all year long, but I would expect that after those 4 games, he'll be good to go. At least I would assume that's the hope there for the Seahawks.
Yeah, it sounded like it. That was what John Schneider said in one of his radio appearances, was that that Julian had been close, the couple times, especially the 1 week he'd had the setback. They decided now, instead of going through that where every week you're trying to get back and then something happens, just give him the time off and get fully healthy. And again, it's another thing where their expectations have changed, right? Right now, you need to win these games to get into the playoffs, but they feel like they've got a legit shot to get into the playoffs. So you're looking at, we need to make sure that Julian Love, can get back. And if we're going to be in the playoffs, we want the best team possible once we get to that point, and Julian Love would be part of that. So, I think that's for sure what they're doing there.
Probably a lot of people to pick from here, Bob Condotta, the Seattle Times. Who you would take, I guess, right now after, what are we, 8 games into the season, as your MVP on defense? Who has been the most impactful guy?
Yeah, that's a really good question. Because there could be so many, there really could be a lot of candidates. The defensive line is just playing so well, and it really starts there. But, nobody in particular is, this is probably going to be one of those things when it gets to the end of the season and all pro teams get picked and stuff like that. There might not be a lot of Seahawks on there because they don't have one right. guy who's putting up all the numbers, because everybody's doing a lot of different stuff. I'd probably have to pick somebody. You feel like you'd have to pick somebody up front, and I don't know if you just fall back on Leonard Williams with how well he's playing, or Byron Murphy
has been awesome.
Byron Murphy's just been so good, and the way he's, the second year, step up that he's taken has really been a huge, has been a huge part of things. Ernest Jones has been playing really well. The 3 interceptions and just kind of being really steady in terms of the overall play back there. And then, the secondary has been really interesting. I think Kobe Bryant is really the only guy who's kind of played every game at this point. With the cornerback injuries that they've had. Well, Rick Wollins played basically every game as well, but
they probably didn't want him to play every single game.
Yeah, no, he just keeps surviving. It's one of those things.
He does keep surviving. God, he does. Well, good for him. Maybe the fact that they've had these injuries, Bob, and then they didn't end up trading him. Sometimes this lights a fire on guys. Maybe it does there for Tarik Woolen, and he has just a huge impact here in the final, half of the season.
Yeah, he's probably going to have to start Sunday. Josh Jobe is still in the concussion protocol, did not practice. We'll again, something we'll get more of a word on, but that the concussions can kind of often be a hard thing to suddenly turn, this late in the game. So we'll see. But obviously, there's specific steps you have to go through there and getting back on the field and things like that. So, I mean, in his defense, I really don't feel they feel like lighting a fire and stuff like that under him is necessarily the issue. It's just sort of, I don't know, is this sort of playing consistently and doing things right and all that, every single time. And, and the idea that he's a far better man coverage guy than he is a zone coverage guy, and they play a lot of zone. I think they're fourth or fifth in the amount of zone coverage they play, and so that's it's just kind of the man coverage fits his skill set a little bit better. But you're probably going to keep seeing him out there, I would think.
How do you think it shakes out Sunday against Jacoby Brissett and the Arizona Cardinals?
I think they're going to win. Right now it's hard to pick against them. It's and they've kind of proven again they can win at home, right? They've kind of gotten that off the plate there. So it's interesting. Jacoby Brissett's. I've been telling people this all week, but for people who've forgotten, when I was covering the Huskies out of the blue in 2010, I guess it would have been January of 2011 after Jake Locker had graduated. Brissett was one of the top recruits in the country. He committed to Florida, but Doug Nussmeier, who was their OC, had tried to recruit him and had a good relationship with him. At the last minute, Brissett suddenly was interested in Washington, and so he made this trip to Washington on the last weekend right before Letter of Intent Day. And so I remember spending 3 nights of my life writing these stories about Doug Nussmeier attending his basketball game down in Florida and things like that, and the Huskies hoping they could get him. He ultimately went to Florida, but I've always kind of followed his career a little bit because of that. And he's a really likable guy. If you ever see interviews with him, a really good guy to talk to. I think he's really popular with his teammates and coaches and stuff like that. And just kind of one of those veteran guys who I don't think he's going to be awed by the situation or anything like that. So he's got the lowest. He has enough attempts to qualify right now. He's got the lowest interception rate in NFL history of any quarterback. He's at 1.3. If you go look at the Pro Football Focus listing, for years it's been Aaron Rodgers basically at the top of that, but Brissett has enough attempps to qualify for that, but he gets sacked a ton, and so that he's not mobile. He's not going to be running around crazy like Kyler Murray does. So it's a completely different kind of offense. But maybe the Arizona Cardinals have found that fits them a little better. Yeah,
we'll see. There he is. Last word with Bob Condotta with us every single Friday. You can follow him on social media at B Condotta. You can read all of his work, SeattleTimes.com. Go get yourself a hard copy. Spend the couple bucks to get a little ink on your fingertips. It's all brought to you by Georgetown Brewery, makers of Manny's Pale Ale, Bodhisattva, Rogers Pilsner, and Georgetown's Tavern Beer. Tasting room and beer garden open daily from 10 a.m. to 8 p.m. Visit GeorgetownBeer.com. Thank you, Bob. Appreciate it. We'll see you next Friday.
Yeah, okay. Thanks a lot, Jason.
Bob Condotta again from the Seattle Times, the last word every Friday with us. In case you miss any of that, that will be part, of course, of the Daily Puck Drop podcast. If you're watching it later, listening to it later, you know where it's at. But on all podcast platforms, Apple, Spotify, does not matter. And, of course, everything up at pucksports.com. Big thanks to Georgetown Brewery once again for delivering you the last word with Bob Condotta every single Friday. Seahawks and Cardinals coming up Sunday. Seahawks favored by 6.5. I just think they win, but I had too many points. I don't know. I think I would side there with Arizona, perhaps, there on that game on Sunday. We've got Hey What the Puck coming up here in just a quick second, but on this day, November 7th, some big moments in the history, sports and non-sports. 1963. It's a real interesting story. I had never heard of this baseball player. Elston Howard became the first black man to win the American League Most Valuable Player Award. The AL MVP will be handed out next week, by the way, next Thursday. Elston turned down college football scholarships when he was 19 years old from Illinois, Michigan, and Michigan State. Instead, at 19, he went to go sign with the Negro Leagues and signed with the Kansas City Monarchs, legendary Negro League team, for $500 a month, which is the equivalent in today's market around $6,000 a month. So pretty good paycheck. New York Yankees signed Howard in 1950. However, did not play in 51 and 52. Why? Well, war, military service. He was gone for 2 years. He made his major league debut with the Yankees in 1955. His MVP season again in 1963, hit 287. He hit 28 home runs. He drove in 85. He slugged 528 there for the Bronx Bombers. He was a 12-time All-Star, 6-time World Series champion, and is number 32 retired by the New York Yankees. Unfortunately, passed away young age, 51. Back in 1980. 1963, though, Elston Howard, first black MVP in the American League. I remember exactly where I was. I was in my car on this date, November 7th, 1991, coming home from school when I heard it on the news. And like many of you, just mouth on the floor, shocked, and just did not understand what was going on. And at that time in 1991, you thought that Magic Johnson had months to live. On November 7th, 1991, Magic Johnson announced he had contracted HIV and he was retiring from the NBA, which was just a sad and devastating moment, I think, for the sports community and really the world of who Magic Johnson was. He briefly returned back in 1992. He was in the All-Star game. If you remember that great All-Star game in 1992, that game was punctuated by him hitting this step-back three. As the clock was expiring, the West went on to win. This is when the NBA All-Star game was fun. Magic Johnson was named the most valuable player of that game, scoring 25 points in that contest. Later in 1992, of course, along with Magic and Larry Bird, he'd be part of the Olympic team, the Dream Team. Of course, he ended up never playing in the NBA again. Currently now an owner of the Lakers and Dodgers, inducted in the Basketball Hall of Fame in 2002. And lastly, 1967, 36th President of the United States of America, Lyndon B. Johnson, signed a bill that established something that unfortunately was taken away this year. A terrible move and just awful, but he signed a bill, the Corporation for Public Broadcasting, 1967. 1970, it became a National Public Radio as NPR. This past year, though, executive order eliminated the funding for NPR and PBS. If you can, donate. Donate to public broadcasting. It's important. It's important for everyone. That's it on this day. Before we go, let's see, we wrap up the show with Hey, What the Puck, which is brought to you by Restoration One of North Seattle. It's your restoration company that lets you avoid the stress of water, fire, and mold damage. Their property restoration services, locally owned and operated. Make them your first call when those damages affect your residential or commercial property. 206-817-8917. Visit them at restoration1.com, the North Seattle franchise. 2 UWs on the field on Saturday. Huskies, of course, traveling to Madison to take on the University of Wisconsin. And it's not been a good year for the University of Wisconsin. But they did something this week that I applaud, and they went against the grain and all the group-like thinking that we have in society and in college sports and in sports in general. They have decided to stick with their head football coach, Luke Fickell. Despite 6 straight losses, been a devastating season, injuries everywhere, quarterbacks, they're getting kids off the street to play quarterback. He is 15-19 in his third season in Madison. His deal currently runs through 2031. The schools decided not to fire him. Had they fired him, he would have been owed $25 million. It's not Brian Kelly 50 or $70 million that Jimbo Fisher got with Texas A&M, but $25 million is a lot of money. In 5 years at Cincinnati, he was the head coach of the Bearcats. He was a hot name in college football before Wisconsin ended up hiring him to the role there in Madison. He averaged 11 wins at Cincinnati. He's a good football coach. A lot of schools wanted him. He did not forget how to coach. There's a good coach there in Luke Fickell, longtime assistant at Ohio State, Midwestern roots. Got away from a little bit in his first, year there. They changed the offense to go air raid. Then he went back to what Wisconsin football is all about. This year, it's just haven't been able to get their footing, off the ground despite all the injuries. But schools have forgotten how to be patient. The fact that even in his third year, not yet complete, they're talking about firing him is just a gross overreaction that we've seen in college sports. It's the same overreaction I see from Cougar fans every day on social media who want the offensive coordinator fired after 9 games. I just shake my head and go, it's just absurd. Absolutely absurd. We have forgotten how to have patience. We've forgotten to give these guys time. Other schools feel, and their fan bases, if you don't win right away, you should be terminated, find the next option. I like what Wisconsin did. More schools should do it. They marched to their own beat. They didn't follow anyone else's lead or the norm in college sports. Allow the coaches to build the program. It takes time, just even in this NIL world. That's What the Puck, again, brought to you by Restoration One of North Seattle. Give them a call, 206-817-8917. Visit them at restoration1.com, North Seattle franchise. We'll have some a new messaging with the group over there, Trent and his group. It would be the same, but little new messaging coming up soon. Also, update on Puck Survivor. If you're still alive in our Survivor pool, there are 52 people left in our Puck Survivor pool. We started out with nearly 500 people. All right, so 52 of you are left. I'm looking at the leaderboard. I don't recognize a lot of names. I do recognize one, Alex Akita. Unbelievable. He's been kind of an internet, star. You may know him, you may not. I've known Alex for a long, long time. People are going to think this is rigged somehow, that he is one of the people leading Puck Survivor. Let me tell you this right now, and Alex is going to hear this. I hope he loses. I hope he goes out this week. All right? I hope so. I don't want to see him win. But get your picks in before this weekend. 52 of you are left. Of course, the grand prize, there is $500 in cold, hard cash there for Puck Survivor. So get in your picks. We've got also the other prizes for Puck Survivor besides the $500. We've got gift cards to John Howie's Steak, $100 there, $50 to Georgetown Brewery, and $50 to Flat Stick Pub. So if you're in Puck Survivor, get your picks in. Good luck to all, except for Alex Akita. Not good luck to him. All right, that's going to end it for us today on the Daily Puck Drop for a Friday show. Enjoy your weekend. Good luck to all the teams in the football district playoffs across the state of Washington. And I'll say this every week until we get to the final game, because I remember what it was like, and I think many of you remember what it's like. And I came across a post yesterday on social media with a picture of a young man who played in his final football game. Football is unique. It is so different than all the other sports, and this post nailed it. I play old man pickup basketball every Monday. Well, I haven't for a while because I severely sprained my ankle a few weeks ago. But I can play basketball still. I can go out and still play baseball with some guys if they want. I can go play golf. I can do all these other sports. The sport you can never do, once it's over, you never play football again. You're not putting on pads and a helmet and getting, hey, guys, 22 other guys, and go play tackle football. And for many of these kids tonight, a lot of you are going to be suiting up for the very, very final time. I remember it like it was yesterday. South Kitsap High School, playoff action, losing to Benji Olsen and Tony Coates. And it stays with you forever. That locker room, bus ride, all of it. Because it's over, it's over. And so take it all in tonight. Kids, parents, coaches, and good luck to everyone. We will see you on Monday. As always, we promise to be better.
No shoes, no ties.
Anybody like to smoke some pot?
Yeah. I was born to love. I was born to lick your face. I was born to rub you, but you were born to rub me first.
What do you need my address for?
We'd like to the sun out, man.
Mother of mercy, I don't speak Japanese!